Welcome to another episode of Women in Focus. I get to meet some dynamic, amazing women every week. So do you. And some of them I have known of them. Some of them I know personally myself. And this young woman is someone I know ever since she was a little girl. And I don't know why it has taken me such a long time to interview her. She's been an amazing role model. She's been an amazing person to do everything for the very first time. So I think I will let her tell all her firsts. My woman in focus today is Rita Sharma Chouhan. Most welcome in our program.
Thank
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, very well.
So I'm your Sushma auntie, huh?
Yes, my sweetest Sushma auntie.
Okay, tell me the story of Sushma auntie.
I vividly remember. It's one of those childhood memories that just get stuck to you and you just can't forget. I must have been 7, 8 years old, not too much older than my younger son, and I came up to you and I said, Sushma, Sushma ji, Sushma, and because that's what everybody called you, and I wanted to be cool, and I wanted to call you Sushma, and I remember you vividly snapping at me, don't you dare call me Sushma, I'll always be your auntie, and you call me Sushma auntie, and ever since that day, yes, you'll be my sweet auntie.
Now, your parents have had a legacy in our Indian community. One of the finest, beautiful store where, I have memories of that store. Some very beautiful, some very amazing. And I'll talk to you about the amazing one off the air.
Okay.
But a store called Ashoka Trading Limited.
That's right.
On Main Street. A very fine store. And the thing that I loved about that store, and main one, was that at the end of the store, you guys had built a little area where you could sit down and spread the saris for people to have a look.
That's right.
So wasn't that just that was
an
the
amazing
first one.
Memory. That was there was a lot of groundbreaking milestones that my parents did at that time. This was back in '73 when Mom and Dad opened the store, and at that time everybody has to understand that Indian fashion was unheard of.
Yes.
There was no such thing. People wore trousers and a blouse, and women wore a dupatta maybe on top. But that was what women wore.
Right.
And here my mother comes from England in 1973, wearing a sari and a bindi with her long hair, and decides that she wants to open up this store. It was very interesting times. We were of course very young, too young to remember, but it was a first in all sorts.
Yes.
To bring Indian fashion, whether it was from India, we used to bring a lot of open fabric back then, and develop from what we know now as Punjabi Market on Main and 49th. My passion, not only for fashion, but just to be creative, just to bring two things together and make them work together.
Right.
That definitely from childhood was ingrained in me. Watching my parents, watching all the different milestones that they went through, whether it was running a fabric store, jewelry, saris, dealing with brides, wedding outfits, people going back to India for shopping, and just to be part of that journey to see what the beautiful outcomes that they were having. That inspired me. It definitely inspired me. I loved working with fashion. I loved working with people.
Right.
I think that was my main focus, my main inspiration was that I get to work with people. And so that's where it took me to the next level.
So how old were you when you did your first fashion show?
I was 18, right out of high school.
Right.
And it was a very interesting time because the Indo-Canadian community was not quite ready for that. We're talking, I'm going to date myself now, but 1988. I was 18 years old, and that's when we decided to have our first fashion show. And I have to mention here that you were a big part of that. That was a major inspiration to put this together, because there's nothing like that had ever been done.
No.
Nobody even understood.
Not for the South Asian community.
Not for the South Asian community, exactly. And this was something that was very, very groundbreaking. And I have some amazing memories because my biggest challenge was not getting the fashions, was getting models. Where do I find Indo-Canadian girls who would be allowed to cross boundaries and to come on stage and to, you know, even though they were going to be wearing very elegant, sophisticated Indian
That's right.
clothing, but it's just something that our Indian girls didn't do back then.
So you had to have your two sisters involved
My
in
two
it.
sisters, I had my closest friends who had no choice.
Right.
I'm like, you're going on stage no matter
Right.
what. And then I had a lot of non-Asian girls, non-South Asian. So I had a couple of Persian friends. Literally, half of my graduating class at the time were my models, and we put on an amazing show.
Yes.
It was at a little venue where a lot of people might remember Mogul Gardens in downtown. Downtown.
That's right.
We put a little event there, and it just took off. The idea, the whole concept, it just went to the next level. We started doing shows for you on
Yes.
TV. We started doing major events, you know, whether it was fundraising events or social events. We had, I remember one of our biggest shows was when Van der Zam had an event, and we had over 1,000 people there, and we put on a fashion show
there, yes.
a fashion show. And slowly, it started becoming accepted, and I was able to wheel in a lot of, you know, South Asian girls, and they got very excited. And I actually started having lists of girls that were interested in modeling. So it was very groundbreaking, because I was
Yes.
inspiring a lot of young girls who wanted to get into this industry,
That's
but they
right.
just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And they were, you know, some of the very successful businesswomen now were one of my first models back then.
Isn't that beautiful?
You've brought me in front of the camera quite a few times.
Quite a few times talking about the business and
Yes.
the fashions. Let's take a short commercial break. I want to talk about your family.
Mm-hmm.
Rita is our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Our Woman in Focus today is Rita Sharma Chouhan. Now, you've kept your maiden name, and you've joined your married name.
Yes.
But I'll come to that in a minute. So let's talk about, were you born in England?
I was born in England,
Okay.
yes. Mhm.
And so 3 sisters.
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about that. How were mom and dad? Were they very strict bringing you guys up or not?
I have to say, actually, for those times, my parents were very progressive. They were very, they were very go with the times, and I think us being 3 sisters also made a difference in the sense that we were their boys, we were
Right.
their sons.
That's right.
And they did not see a difference. If they had any aspirations, they saw those aspirations in
Right.
us, and they let us make our own journeys. Of course, you know, education was very important for mom and dad, but also our dreams. So whether, you know, not all us 3 sisters had very different outlook in careers.
What did you want to be?
I definitely business. It was without being said. That was it was in my blood. It was my passion. It was, I eat, breathe, sleep, anything to do with business. That's what
Right.
I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to work with people, and I wanted to be in a business world. And right from there, even when I had the opportunity of going to university, I decided to stay in university, but only on a part-time basis. It took me double the time to finish my degree, but I wanted to work at the shops, and
But you opened up your own boutique.
I did, and that's what I did
Right.
for quite a few years. That in the early 90s, I was the first person to open a fashion boutique,
Right.
catering to our South Asian women.
So now that had all ready-made suits in there?
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
that was the first time
Yeah.
that ready-made outfits were introduced for women. Because up in that point, if people remember, it used to be just fabrics. Fabrics imported from Japan or Indonesia, and women would stitch their suits.
Yeah.
Or then there would be saris.
That's right.
And ready-made suits was a very unusual concept at
Right.
the time, and we even sourced from different places. We actually went back to India. We went to places like Bombay and Delhi,
Yeah.
and start picking up designer suits, designer clothing, which were stitched, which were fashionable. For once, it started becoming a little bit more fashionable rather than your basic salwar, kameez,
Yes,
dupatta.
yes.
And now we were talking about fashion where it started becoming very attractive to
Right.
the younger generation. And again, back then, Indian clothing was not very, you know, actually wasn't mainstream at all.
Yes.
And we've come a long ways. I was just at the fashion event this last weekend, and it was phenomenal where fashion has come from and where it's taken it. So it's been very interesting to see, you know, the journey of where
And
it's
Indian
come
fashion
from.
also has advanced quite a bit.
Very
right?
much so. Yesterday, half the crowd was actually non-South Asian. So it was very mainstream. The media, the attendees were mainstream and accepting our Indian styles, Indian dressing, Indian clothing, Indian women as part of the mainstream fashion.
So now, with mom and dad being very progressive, is that how you met Raman and got married, and
Yes.
how was that?
That was interesting.
Yes.
Again, you know, back we're talking about early '90s now. You know, dating was not very much accepted,
Yes.
and
But he would come to the store.
he would come to the store,
I know
and you
that.
know that because you
Yes.
caught us.
Yes, many a time.
Yes, we've had some beautiful memories, but it was
Yes.
just a matter of time. Once they met
Yeah.
him, I think, you know, again, it's the stigma. It's,
Right.
you know, there were a lot of norms in our community that people followed, and that's just the way it happened.
Right.
And
But you know, very nice of mom and dad to sort of look at that and say, here is a young man who loves our daughter.
that's what it all came down
Yeah.
to. At the end of the day, when they saw that how happy he made me, and it was actually quite beautiful because my mom actually knew his mother.
Okay.
So that helped. That helped.
Yes.
You know, socially they knew each other.
Okay.
And it was a Hindu Sikh wedding, and
So you did both?
we actually did only a Hindu wedding,
Okay.
but from then onwards,
Yeah.
I have embraced both
Both the
religions,
religions,
and
yes.
my kids proudly say they're Hindu Sikh if anybody
Right.
asks them.
Yeah.
And that's you know, again, something that we've embraced and we've never looked back, and we've had a beautiful, beautiful life together so far.
You've got 2 kids?
Yes, I have 2 boys.
But you waited a long time to have your first one.
Yes, it wasn't meant to be that way, but it's okay. We've had a really good time, my husband and I together on our own, and then we had one, which Akash, who's now 15 years old.
Wow.
Enjoyed him and his company for 8 years. I was actually a stay-at-home mom, so fully enjoyed being a stay-at-home mother. And then we had little Arman, who's now 7 years old. And
So
2
Armand
boys.
brings you to your business life.
It does.
Doesn't
it
he?
does. He's my little lucky charm in so many different ways. You know, in my early 40s, well, actually I hit 40, and that's when I decided I want to get back into some kind of business or
Right.
some kind of career. And being at home was beautiful. It was very nice. I enjoyed my first one.
Right.
But I think it was time for me to get back out there. And that's when I decided to open up my current business. And lo and behold, I was not even in this business for 6 months. I get pregnant.
Murphy's Law.
Yes. So for all of those out there who think they can't do it, I gave birth at the age of 41
Wow,
to my
wow.
little one, and ever since my business has grown, and he has grown together.
Now, business, that's another one that's a first for a South Asian woman. So you do home staging and design. I want to talk a little bit about this because this is a very attractive business that you've gotten yourself into. But let's just take a short commercial break and come back.
Sure.
Rita is our woman in focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Focus. Rita Chouhan is our woman in focus today. Rita, an elegant touch, beautiful name, a very elegant name. So, why and when did you get into this business?
I opened
What did you
this-
think of this? Why not fabric and all that?
I think, you know, fashion was great.
Yes.
It was a very good run, but I'd been there, I'd done it,
Yes.
and I wanted something different. And it was also very saturated. Now, as we touched on the Surrey market,
Right.
I think it was a market that's becoming very, very saturated, and there was a lot of, you know, new, fresh ideas coming, and it just wasn't doing the same what it did for me back,
Right,
you
at
know,
that time.
at the time.
The time that you guys were there was the right time for you guys to be there, to be presenting what you were presenting. Market has changed, India has changed,
Yes.
fashion has changed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that's where I changed to a certain point. Even though I still love being creative, I still love working with colors and putting
Right.
things together, working with people. But I think that was not my calling
Right.
anymore. And again, I wanted to get in some kind of an industry. I loved the interior design, which is
Right.
also being creative. I loved that industry, but again, not interior design itself, because again, that is also a market. There's a lot of people out there,
Right.
interior decorators, interior designers. I wanted to get into a niche that is something a little unusual, a little different. And believe it or not, staying at home, watching these TV shows, that's what inspired me. And
Really?
looked into this new industry of home staging,
Right.
which was quite unheard of actually back then. I've opened this business about 9 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And people didn't understand, why would we get home staging done? What is home staging?
Right. So explain what is home staging.
It is definitely a sector of interior design. It
Okay.
is essentially part of interior designing.
Right.
However, it has a lining of the real estate industry. So it's combining the both. You have to have the knowledge of the real estate industry
Right.
along with interior design.
Okay.
So, for example, if we are putting a house on the market, our main goal is obviously to have it shortest time on the market and obviously sell it for the most amount of money. And in order to do that, especially with our community becoming so much more involved in the construction industry, and Vancouver itself just booming so much, it's still a very young city compared to all the other the larger cities out there. So there's a lot of construction, a lot of boom happening, and that's where we needed your home to stand out. So we come in and we basically dress up your home,
Okay.
and showcase it like a show home for it to stand out from everything else that's out there.
Right.
That's basically our goal. So for that, reason why the real estate industry takes a part is because when we are staging a particular home, we have to see what are the demographics, what's the location, what kind of a family do you think is going to be purchasing this home? Is it going to be a family, or are they going to be empty nesters? So we try to decorate accordingly and to appeal to the masses.
So when a person walks into the house, they can sort of feel, oh yeah, I could be in this house because I could do, I could have furniture in this area, or I could have my bedroom in this area,
Exactly.
or things like that. So
Exactly, yeah.
so it's very focused then.
It is.
You know.
It's very focused in the sense we're giving them a direction.
Right.
And we're inspiring them that, okay, if you, first of all, we want them to feel like they can live in this home and they
Right.
can move in this home.
So do you do it only for brand new homes, or
No, we do brand new homes.
Yeah.
We do even occupied homes.
Right.
So even if you're still living in the home and your home is going on the market,
Right.
we can come in and we can stage it.
So wouldn't that be more difficult when someone is living in the house?
It is. I have to say, empty homes are obviously a lot easier
Of
to
course.
stage.
Yes.
Because we're given a blank palette.
That's
And
right.
we
And you-
come in and we carry the vision that the builder has seen or the developer has seen.
Right.
We carry that forward and
Yeah.
we stage the home. Occupied homes are a little bit sensitive. It's a little bit
Yes.
tricky because obviously anybody living in their home, this is their palace, and nobody will ever feel like anything's wrong with their home, and
So
it
let-
never is. This is your home. This is your personal taste,
So let
right?
me ask you a silly question. So many homes you'd go and see a lot of pictures, like
Yes.
your house has got pictures. There are places where you would not find any photographs at all. Some people just do not want any pictures. How can you sort of judge what you want to do in a home and how to stage it?
So if there's an occupied home, we actually do walk in and give them a list of things to do.
Okay.
And one of the main things is depersonalizing.
Yeah.
And that's where we will walk in where, yes, take down your personal photographs, put away all your personal items. It could be religious items, it could be your mail, it could be your prescriptions, your certificates. We
Your
actually
hall,
ask...
or your hall mental.
Oh, you're exactly. We ask them to pack this up
Right.
and put that away because, again, we want the potential buyer to walk in the home
Yeah.
and visualize themselves living in the home, not necessarily trying to figure out who actually lives in the home. And human nature, we're very curious. We're nosy. We want to know who lives here. what kind of family was here before. So that's where we need to depersonalize the home and neutralize the home, so that when
Right.
somebody walk in, keep them guessing, leave them guessing, and we don't want any distractions. People will start looking at photographs and get distracted.
That's
and
right.
forget looking at what they've come to actually look at.
How many closets are there, and
Exactly.
you know, how many bathrooms are there, and things
Exactly.
like that.
So that's the main part of an occupied home to put on your, if you want to put it on the market,
Right.
is to depersonalize. And then of course there's common sense things, decluttering,
Right.
modernizing. So that's where we can come in and we can, give them some tips on how to declutter, what to put what away, what should be out of sight. And then modernizing, we work with what you have. We
Yeah.
try to work as much as possible with the furniture that you have, but we may have to bring in some modern pieces.
So do you have to buy all that furniture?
It's all my own personal inventory.
Okay.
So we have a warehouse where we house all the inventory, and we come in. You'd be surprised with just a few items. It might be just some fresh cushions, some artwork, some linens, just a few pieces, and it can do magic. It can definitely
Isn't
do
that
magic.
beautiful? And have you noticed that the houses and apartments are slowly and gradually becoming smaller and smaller
They
and
are.
smaller? So
They are.
do you have to buy that small?
Yes, yeah. We try to cater to all sorts of homes, because
Right.
we have done 600 square feet condos. We've
Right.
done 16,000 square feet homes, mansions.
Wow.
So we've had a full range. We've done them all, and we've done them all even in the geographical areas.
Right.
Whether we're looking at a home in the Lower Mainland or the Fraser Valley, we've done homes sea to sky. Now we've just opened up on the island too.
Right.
Every single geographic area has a different style of home, different size.
So how many homes have you done so far?
Oh, that I wouldn't even know how to answer that. But I know currently I
Yeah.
have probably about 90 homes staged out there.
90.
90
So far.
so far. Right now, currently staged on the market.
Wow, she is one busy young woman. Rita, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Going strong as ever. We've just, like I said, just opened up on the island now. We've started staging homes there. And you're my inspiration. You're not slowing down. I'm not slowing down. I'm
So you're
right
not
behind you.
Good for you. Good for you. And all the more power to you, my
Thank
dear.
you.
Thank you very much for being our Woman in Focus today.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to sit with you again after so many years.
Oh my God, it's
And
been a long time.
It's been a long time, but it's been a dream come true, because you are one of those women that have inspired me and brought me to where I am today.
Thank you. Thank you. Rita Sharma Chouhan has been our Woman in Focus today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.